Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Friday morning's edition of Ask the Master Auto Technician. And for the last couple of Fridays, I have been running reruns of Hansson from Baytown Tires due to the fact that I think he's been in Southern California at a tire factory. Is that where you've been, Hansson?
Well, I went to Texas, and then I went to California. Yeah, it was a long trip. I enjoyed it, got to learn a lot of stuff, got to see a lot of different things, so it was educational.
Well, tell me what seemed to stand out the most on this, because every time I go to something like this, I learn something, and it seems like one thing seems to pop out more than anything. So what was the one thing?
Well, the big buzz is to make tires that are the same, have the same great traction at the beginning of the life, and then all the way through down to 30 seconds. So basically, the tire's as good new as it is when it's time to take it off and put another tire on there.
Yeah, because we've talked before about as the tire gets older and they wear the tread down, the traction decreases. And you stated before, a lot of it has to do with the way the tread is made, the compound. It seems to not have the same amount of traction, and that just seems to be a natural occurring process.
And a lot of the reason they're talking about this is because autonomous cars are coming.
True.
And they want that car to be able to respond the way that it did when it drove off the lot, and respond the same way, because computers don't like change too much.
No.
So if the stopping distance is really 120 feet from 60 miles an hour to a complete stop, and then changes to 180 feet or something like that, then the computer goes like, something's not quite right. And it's important now because you have all these different features already, you know, adaptive cruise control and ABS braking systems that are better, and all those things don't work well if the tires aren't in good shape.
So apparently the buzzword is autonomous cars, is what you're hearing. And I think that is the buzzword. I think in the next 5, maybe 10 years, you're going to be seeing a lot of cars on the road without drivers in them. I mean, you'll pull up to a red light and look over there, and there'll be a big truck with no driver in it. You look to the right, and you'll see a passenger car with no driver in it. You'll just have passengers.
Well, you know, and a lot of people, I saw statistics I was reading, you know, like I always do about automotive stuff this morning. You should read something else, I don't know.
I know.
But only 25% of the people in America right now trust in autonomous car.
Well, I agree. I think that's because of lack of education. Because I felt the same way about getting in a Tesla automobile that was able to steer itself and stop itself and pass cars. I didn't trust it. I kept my hands right on the steering wheel, right off the steering wheel for the first, I guess 10 minutes till I couldn't hold them anymore. But after a while, you start seeing that this car is safe. It'll stop, it'll start, it'll pass cars. It does everything it's supposed to do, and it's done by computers.
Right, and you know, and it, for me too, you know, driving in an autonomous car, we didn't do on the highway, but we did it in an obstacle course on the road. And the first couple of minutes, I was like, holy crap, everything is doing it all by itself. Pardon my language, but it is kind of, you're not used to it. So,
no.
You know, newer generations that are only accustomed to autonomous cars 10, 15 years from now say, that's probably no problem. Us older guys who are used to turning the steering wheel and hitting the brakes, it takes a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah, and the idea, when I told someone the other day, I said the car that's going to be coming into my shop in the next 10 years is going to be a car with no steering wheel, no brake pedal, no accelerator pedal. And if it breaks down, you know, and comes to my shop, I got to figure out how to get that into my shop. So there's going to be more jobs, more technology that's going to be made out there, more scanners to be able to break into one of these cars and manually or however we're going to steer them. That's one of the things that kind of crossed my mind. If I get a car that comes in that's an autonomous car and I can't communicate with it, you know, how are we going to move it? You're not going to be able to. So that's going to be another area.
Yeah, we'll have to jack it up 4 ways and somehow push it into the shop. Now, absolutely right.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to do it. Maybe we'll be able to take a scanner and plug into the ALDL connector, and it'll have a joystick on it. Who knows? Maybe it'll have a joystick that bypasses all controls, makes it go to auxiliary power to make it steer with the joystick and move with the joystick while you're in a repair mode, so to speak. That's the only thing.
I don't know either. And the other big buzz is, of course, there's going to be chips in tires that communicate, directly to the car.
Tell me about the chips in tires. What's
well,
that going to be?
They're already doing chips and sensors that are in the tire itself for truck tires.
I didn't know that. Tell me about that. I didn't know that.
Well, they scan it. Those chips tell if the tire has been overheated and actually how long the tire has been in service. All those things they're already doing in truck tires.
I had no idea.
Which helps. I'm talking when I would say truck tires. I'm talking big trucks.
Yeah.
Not your F-150.
No, we're talking about big over the road trucks.
Right. So which makes it easier. So when that truck pulls in for service, the guy just scans the tire and it says, "Oh, this tire has been on the road for 5 years and so many miles, and it's this how much heat has been absorbed throughout the body of the tire. It's time to replace it," so he doesn't have to guess.
That's a great idea, especially with the liability that's involved with having these trucks on the road. If you leave a tire on there that's dangerous, and you're going by judgment, by what you see and the human error in there, this kind of takes a lot of the human error out.
Right, and that's what they're going to in passenger and light truck tires too. That, but of course there have to be standards, and that's what big companies like Michelin and General are working on. That they have the capability of doing it already, but there have to be standards in place with the government and also with the car manufacturers so that everything communicates correctly. So one day you'll get in your car and they'll say, "Hey, it's time to change your tires."
Yeah, you're probably right. Remember when tire pressure monitoring systems came out in 2008, I think it was mandatory, and you and I and everybody else was running around scrambling trying to make sure we had something to communicate with them. And, we might have, I know I did. I bought one piece of equipment. It didn't work quite well. I had to go buy another piece of equipment to work better to do the job. But I think that's what we're going to run into. I think it's going to be another piece of equipment that shops are going to have in order to be able to work and service today's cars and trucks that are coming into us.
And you're absolutely right. We scrambled to figure out how the TPMS sensors were working, and now it's an old, it's an old trick to us because we do it every day, and people still go like, "Do you know how to work on sensors?" And I tell them that 95% of the cars that we get coming through here every day have sensors now. Like you said, 2007, it was mandated.
Yeah.
So it's 11 years, and some car companies were already doing it 2 years before that.
Yeah.
So it seems like a lifetime ago that we started working on TPMS sensors.
Yeah, it is amazing how we've changed to adapt to these things. I mean, someone the other day asked me, says, "James, cars are so complicated to work on. How do you keep up with it?" I said, "You know what? I prefer today's cars than I do the cars of 1960 and 70 and early 80s because I have so much information at my fingertips, whether it's on the internet, looking up information or putting a scanner on it or grabbing a TPMS sensor and going out to the tire and pinging it to see if they're working or not working." I mean, to me, I think car repair in a way is easier, and it's more, it's not up to the technician as much as it is up to the technology. The technology.
I agree. A lot of people always become frightened about change, which I do too. I mean, even looking at some websites that I'm used to using all the time, and all of a sudden they change the layout, like All Data or something. I'm going like, well, why? But it always seems to, once we adapt, and which we have to, every other day we have to adapt to something new in our industry. It actually is better. We go like, why do we ever do it this way, 2 weeks down the road from having changed? I think it's an exciting time. There's going to be some scrambling, but, people like you and I think, will come out ahead and be able to serve our customer better and quicker and easier in the long run.
Well, what you and I have seen are the shops that keep up with this technology, they flourish, they do well, they take care of the customers. The shops that don't buy this technology and don't keep up with it, we see them, well, they don't stay in business very long. I went by another shop yesterday to go get something, and they were closed. And I had gone out of business. I went, dadgum, I didn't know they were closed. But they closed down due to health reasons. But a lot of times, health reasons is just another example of, well, the technology is too much trouble to get. I'm too old to learn it. And so they say, okay, it's health reasons. I'm just too old to learn it.
And I agree with you. A lot of shops, especially in Bay County, and I talk to shop owners all around the country at some of these meetings, is that they're getting older, and it's hard to find a new generation to be excited about working on cars.
That is so true.
And that's the biggest problem.
It is true. I feel blessed that I have two people that work for me that are under 40 years old. I have one person who's under 30 years old. I went, yay! They're
that's great. And I'm glad you have somebody who is doing well and who's young, who sees a future in our industry.
Yeah, I'm type person that this is part of my exit strategy. I train them in this business, how to run this business. Then when I get tired, I say, okay, here are my keys. You can have it.
Oh, James, you're going to be 85 still working on cars. You can't help yourself.
You're probably right. I keep asking myself, when am I going? I tell you what, every time I get a car in that it requires me to program it, and it gives me a fit programming it, and I have to keep doing it till I finally get it right, I keep swearing I'm going to quit this business and go into raising bees full time.
Well, I do. But sometimes I get well, I shouldn't say get bored with this business, but I get a little bit fed up. But then a challenge comes along, and it kind of reignites the spark. So every once in a while, it's really frustrating. But I look at, wow, what are they doing here? I get to sit in a Tesla and go like, wow, this is definitely different. I need to learn more about this. So I think technology sometimes excites me more than it really falters.
Now, speaking of technology, one of the things I've been hearing about, we only got about a minute and a half left here, 2 minutes, is doing a pre and post scan reading of every vehicle that comes in. And the reason we're doing it is because we have found out that a lot of times customers come into your shop, they don't think there's anything wrong with your car. You take it back there, do an oil change on it, and then the check engine light comes on a day or two later, and they're not quite sure what you did. So, maybe you did something.
I agree wholeheartedly, too. And again, we try to be, like you said, proactive. A lot of cars come in here with the check engine light on, and the customer says, oh, don't worry about that, just do an oil change or do a tire rotation, and or the tire light is on. And I said, well, we need to really just check it out and note what was going on with your car. Right. And like you said, even after you do an oil change or something like that, to reset the maintenance light and things like that, and then also do another scan to see what else is going on with the vehicle.
And shops that are doing this are doing quite well. And matter of fact, insurance companies now, when they bring me a car, they say we want a scanner with printout, and then after we authorize the work and we allow you to do the work, we want you to give us a post with a printout showing what you've done. Those codes have been cleared, the system readiness monitors have run. I'm going, whew, boy. I said, no problem, I don't mind doing this. I said, why didn't y'all ask this years ago? And they said, because the technology was not available. Right now, the technology is available, and every shop has a scanner.
And it makes a happier customer in the long run to say, hey, we fixed these things and everything seems to be in great order. And then if the light does come on again, 2 or 3 weeks from now, we go like, oh, unfortunately something else is going on now.
Well, we had a customer, what we have found out by doing this, we've actually increased, if you're a business owner out there, you can increase your bottom line by about 20%. That's quite a bit if you do a pre and post, because we had a car that came in the other day. It came in for his rear hatch didn't work. So I did a health check on it, checked it all out, and I said, man, you got a whole bunch of codes in this thing. Your battery go dead? Yeah, my battery went dead. Okay, well, let's clear all your codes, and let's go for a ride. Well, we went for a ride, came back. All the codes were gone except 3 came back for the transmission. I looked them up on the Saturn View, and I said, sir, here's your options. Either you fix this car transmission right now because it's not acting up, there's no check engine light on, but these codes are coming back. You either fix it now or trade this car off now. because this car, if this continues to get worse, this transmission is going to go out, and they don't make this transmission anymore for this Saturn Vue. And he looked at me and said, "You're serious?" And I said, "Call your technician up there in Indiana or wherever you're from, talk to him." He called back about 2 hours later and said, "My technician says I need to fix it now." I said, "Okay," but that makes a big difference doing the pre and post. It'll save customers and give them that peace of mind they need out there. What's wrong with their car? Help them make decisions about keeping the car or getting rid of the car.
And I think that's our job.
That is.
We're not doing that, we're not doing our job as advisors. We're really supposed to be an advisor to your car's health.
You really are. Hansson, thank you for being on here. You've been a world of information. Glad you got back in town. We've been running best of shows for you. Keep you out there, but we missed talking to you.
Very few to pick from then. For my spot.
No, we have years and years of best of. All right. Talk
Have
to you
a
later.
great week.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
If you want the best deal in town for tires, you need to call Baytown Tires at 873-8900.
Hansson and the guys at Baytown Tires take pride in serving Panama City for over 20 years. Baytown Tires on Highway 98 in St. Andrews. All service work backed by a nationwide warranty.
So, the I'll-get-there-quick plumbing guy got there quick. To be fair, he did fix the leak in the kitchen drain. Too bad this is the bathroom. Mr. Rooter Plumbing ensures we fix what you see, and even what you don't.
Question about your E450. That's an Econoline 450 van, 2005. It's something about brake lights? What's it doing?
James, the brake lights don't work on this thing. It's a Class C motorhome on that chassis.
Yeah.
31-footer, okay?
Yeah.
The upper center brake light works.
Yeah, okay. All right, good. So that works. So that tells me your brake switch is working when you push the brake switch.
Correct.
Yeah, it
and
works.
I've checked all the wiring, and I've looked all over the internet, and evidently there's been quite a few people who's had that problem. And they've said that they've had to go in and change out that multi-function switch. I'm assuming that's the blinker switch and all that.
And it's not that hard. It's only got like 3 screws to do. It's not a hard job at all. Normally, give me a second here. Let me go here to Let me go to direct fit. Listen to me. And I can go here and I can just go to you say it's a 2005, right?
Yes, sir.
I go to 2005, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to. Oh, come on. My computer's slowed down here.
And by the way, that Cadillac that you put new brake wheel bearings in, change oil, running like a top.
I can't. Well, we do so much work down here sometimes.
Oh, buddy. Hey, I know exactly what you're saying. I'm from Defuniac. I brought the car down.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We get a lot of people that come through your way. We had a gentleman come from your way that had me to reprogram a computer. I thought that was pretty impressive that he brought over. Let me go to Identifix real quick. Identifix.
Well, I know I can trust you.
Well, there's a lot of shops out there you can trust. I'm not alone, but we try to take care of our customers. That's what technicians try to do. We find solutions to people's problems. We fix things, you know. Right, exactly. And let me go over here. Let's see. Come on, work here. There we go. My computer's slower than it wants to be, but let me go down.
Well, it's probably like me getting old.
Oh, tell me about it. When I wake up in the morning, if I don't hurt, I ask, first thing I ask, did I die last night? I don't hurt.
Yeah, I died last night. Something's wrong.
Okay, this is the E450 Super Duty, I'm going to say. And I'm going to put down, you got it. The engine you got in it is a V8 or V10?
V10.
V10, okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in select vehicle. I'm going to type in brake lights, and I'm going to see what it says. But I'm betting it's going to be that what you're talking about. I'm betting that I'm going to put down brake lights and see if anyone has the same problem, because we see a lot of problems come in that and they're pretty common. And let's see, brake lights or no turn signal. Okay, won't come out of park. That's not it. Yours, you have.
Yeah, that's at number 11.
Okay, red brake lights on.
That checked it. It wouldn't come out of park.
Okay, let's see.
Wired together.
All right, Class C motorhome on E450 stripped down. No brake lights, but there's power through the brake light switch. Check the fuses, number fuse 39, or the trailer wiring. They're talking about that. They say check fuse. Number 39 on the inside fuse box. Make sure that's good, and you say it is.
Yes, sir.
All right, and you say the only thing you have is let's see, I'm looking right here what they're telling me. It's either going to be the fuse. Let's see, that's what I'm looking at. Has anyone got that problem? No turn signal. Initially, brake lights were not working. No turn signal hasher. The brake lights work normally. Electronic flasher. Brake light on. ABS. Red brake light will go out. I'm sitting here going through all these things. Okay, high amount stoplight does not work. Okay, yours does work. Brake lights stay on.
And everything else works. Blinkers work, hazards work.
Oh, here we go. The third brake light. The brake lights do not work. The third brake light does work, man. And you're absolutely right. Here's the test procedure. Unplug the multifunction switch and jumper the light green wire to the light green orange wire.
Okay.
And the orange. Anyway, I can't remember.
Now that is the blinker switch.
Yeah,
right?
that is. Well, that is
okay.
the multifunction switch. The turn signal. It makes the wipers come on. The turn signals, and you may even have cruise control.
Roger. So I'm gonna sell this, and I got to fix it before I sell it.
If it was me, I would test it out, but I'm betting it's a multifunction switch because here it is right here. Brake lights do not work. Third brake light does. Multifunction switch or multifunction switch wiring. My money's going to be on the multifunction switch because 9 out of 10 times that's what's going to be wrong with it because you telling me the brake light switch works. That means it's coming up.
Right.
That means it's coming up.
I tested all that.
Yeah, and that's fine. It comes up through the steering column, and when it comes up to the steering column, the multifunction splits it off in diodes to allow your brake lights to work and your turn signals to work at the same time. That's how that works. Years ago, we didn't have a multifunction switch. We had a steering column harness when we'd have the same problem where we had a third brake light and nothing coming out the back on the rear. It was the steering column harness. We had to replace that whole harness. Now they've redesigned it where you don't have to replace the harness. You get to replace the $150 multifunction switch, which got 3 screws in it.
Right.
You know,
it makes it easier, right?
Oh, it's a lot easier, and it's a lot less time-consuming, and it's a lot less trouble. But yeah, if I was a betting man, I would go to the dealership. That's where I'd get it. I would not buy it aftermarket. I would buy a brand new multifunction switch. I would plug it in, and I'm just about guaranteeing your problem's going to go away.
That's going to take care of the problem.
Yeah, it's a pretty common. Well, I shouldn't say I can't say about this problem on this car, but I see this on other cars.
Yes.
And multifunction switch or steering column harness or the wiring. That's usually all it is. And but if your fuse is good, make sure all your fuses are good. That's the first thing I tell people on electrical problem. Check every dadgum fuse you got on the.
Yes, sir. I went through that box with my tester.
Good.
Testing each fuse.
Good.
And the ones that didn't light up, turn the power on, they lit up.
Yep, that's fine. I just want to make sure they're working because I have so many people that have brought cars into me that I found the problem by checking fuses and finding them blown.
Fuses. I watch you every morning on TV.
Well, good. The other thing I find out is customers take fuses out and then don't put them back in. And then they bring it to me and go, nothing works. And I go, really? Nothing works?
Right. And I wire another option into them, just stick a bare wire.
Yeah, well, you see that too. Between that and black tape over the check engine light are two of my most common things I see around here. But Tim, I hope that points you in the right direction.
I appreciate it, and I'm going to do that, and I'll give you a call in a couple of days and let you know if that works.
Sounds great. Sounds like a program. Appreciate that, Tim.
Have a good one now.
All right,
Thanks for meeting.
You're very, very welcome. All right, this is James Morris. We got, like I said, I've got about another 3 minutes left here to go but on this segment. But if you've got a car question, that's what this show is about. Every day, Monday through Friday, we get together with you on television on WPGX Fox 28. And I am surprised so many people from far away, Defuniak Springs, Caryville, Clarksville, well, that's not that far away, even Mariana call this show and they have questions that they can't get answers for. I don't know why they can't get answers for, but multifunction switches are very, very common problems on cars where you don't have high beams or you don't have low beams. Another thing that gets overlooked is relays. I've had cars that come in that have only high beams and don't have low beams. And everybody checks them out. They can't find a problem. Make sure get a wiring diagram. Say if you've got, of a car, that's one of the most important things to find out what your wiring diagram says. You really need to make sure that what you got. You need to make sure that you understand where the relays are, where the fuses are. Because I've seen relays that'll work for a second and then not work for a second. Then wiggle them, they'll come on for a second, and you'll swear you have a bad connection, a plug-in connection. And you'll thump it with your finger and it'll come back on again. Well, it must be a bad connection. Well, no, it's not. If you've got another relay that looks like that one, swap them and see if the problem goes away. We see that quite often about relays. I've got a Volvo right now. The air conditioning compressor will come on, but after about 10 minutes, the air conditioning compressor stops, kicks off. and then it'll come on. Then it'll kick off. It'll come on. Then it'll kick off. You can put your hand on the relay and you can feel it clicking. Click, click. And when it does click, the compressor kicks on or kicks off. So we know there's something happening in that relay right there. Now, is it getting a signal that telling it to kick off, like the evaporator is satisfied and it thinks it's satisfied with enough coolness and it doesn't need to have that compressor running? Well, that's what we looked at, and I couldn't tell with the scanner said no, it should be on. It's getting the command to come on, so I think it's got a bad relay. Unfortunately, since it's a Volvo, I have to wait a day to get the part in because, well, they're not very expensive, these Volvo relays are, but with 350,000 miles on this Volvo, it runs the AC, this little relay that runs the AC compressor, I think that might be my whole problem. People overlook relays a lot out there. And so if you've got a problem with brake lights, you got a problem with headlights, you got a problem with air conditioning, you got a problem with fuel pumps, all these things, relays are the most overlooked items on cars. They are, because sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. That's why it's great to have a relay tester where you can plug the relay into into an adapter that plugs into the fuse box where the relay goes, and you can touch the wires to see if they're getting commands or getting grounds or getting power, and you can do voltage drop tests, you can do all that. Now, this equipment's not cheap, but boy, is it a lifesaver when a technician's doing the work. So if you've got problems with a car that's intermittent, lights, brakes, whatever, always check relays, even fuel pump failures. I've had people that change fuel pumps and they say about every 2 years I got to put a fuel pump in. I said, man, that sounds like a voltage drop problem wearing your fuel pump out. You're not getting full 12 volts back to your fuel pump. You may be getting 11.5, 11.8, and that car is designed to run on 12 volts or more, and it's making it burn up too fast. You can have a voltage drop at a fuel pump relay. I mean, relays are the most, even starter relays, one of the things I recommend when you change a component that has a relay, change the relay as well. Whether it's a starter relay, AC relay, compressor relay, brake light relay, headlight relays. If you're having problems, don't overlook the importance of relays. I'm serious. People overlook the importance of relays. All right, this is James Morris. Thank you so much for being on here. I'm up against kind of a clock here, and I only got about a minute left here. But if you have a car question, give us a call at 850-763-0555 Monday through Friday from 6 to 6:30 right here on WPGX Fox 28. Tim did. A lot of people do. Some people call when the show is over. Unfortunately, I'm in the back there making sure the people that brought their cars here are getting them fixed correctly. And I'm the quality control guy, because I tell my guys, if we're not quality controlling the cars before they leave here and the customer becomes the quality control agent and they find something wrong, they do not have a sense of humor. They really don't enjoy finding rags left in their cars or dirty fingerprints or leaks, or they don't like that. So we try to make sure we don't have those little surprises pop up. Hey, this is James Morris. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back to, I think I'll be back in another segment just in a few minutes. All right, bye-bye, everybody.
Part of what I'd like to let you know is what we do and how we work our system. Basically, we've got about 700 stocking dealers scattered around the 15 counties here in the Big Bend area of the state. I run a fleet of trucks, vans, and what we call hotshot vehicles to deliver to our dealers quickly so they can help service you as fast and efficiently as they can. Provide timely and efficient service, and we're there to take care of our dealers, who in turn can take care of their customers.